How you doing? My name is Ozzy Cameron. I'm a student at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, and I'm here to discuss my technology application brief, which I have to translate, of course, into a video blog, this is what I'm doing currently now. And I'd like to discuss the fingerprint process, which is being used through the integrated automated fingerprint identification system by the FBI and also by the New York statewide automated fingerprint identification system, which is a similar version by the state of New York. And this is basically what it is a database which collects biometrics, which is key identificational characteristics that each individual has to identify that particular person, which is the fingerprint, of course, is one of them, and it's the key one that criminal justice professionals use to identify criminals and terrorists. There's others, of course. There's DNA, which is another popular one. However, DNA requires at times court orders, and there's the iris scan, and to name a few, the biometrics of the hand is also another one. I think there's palm prints. Well, there's several of them, but like I said before, the ones that I'm going to concentrate and as far as my analysis and my research is going to be the fingerprint, which has come a long way from the old traditional ink and roll card, which used to be called a white card, and it used to be fingerprinted. Law enforcement used to fingerprint criminals when they used to come to the station house or to process through, I'm pretty sure everybody remembers this method, which is the old ink and roll up all the 10 prints onto a fingerprint card, and then that was either mailed or transported, for example, in New York City to Albany, and sometimes it took weeks even before you could identify the person that you had arrested, and at times that meant that the individual was already arraigned and was already on the street. But the new technology came out 1989 for the New York State, which was the New York State automated fingerprint identification system. And basically what it does is once there's a computerized system that most of all law enforcement are utilizing within the United States now, and it's called the life scan system. Basically, the ink roll, hard card copy of finger rolling your hands onto these cards are no longer in existence. I mean, some law enforcement within the United States, very few are using it, but now it's come to life scan, which basically what it does is you fingerprint just like you did in the ink roll system, but it's transposed from the life scan system into a database, and these databases are able to detect within minutes if you're holding a terrorist, for example, or a criminal, or if the person you have has a warrant, or if the person you have is a recidivist and has committed numerous crimes before. And like I said, the system in New York State was adopted back in 1989, and currently has over 3 million fingerprints and 7 million fingerprints, along with criminal history records and civil servant workers. If you are fingerprinted, for example, or if you're a teacher or a police officer, these fingerprints are transposed into the system in his house. For an example, we had a situation one time where I was going through a training, actually, in life scan, and the training individual was a law enforcement, and he fingerprinted himself. However, he sent the prints to Albany, and within seconds they come barging in and started stating that a law enforcement official was under arrest. So the law enforcement official had to identify himself and tell him it was part of a training that he accidentally submitted the fingerprints, and just within seconds these fingerprints were transported to Albany, where it was database, and it was able to determine that a law enforcement individual was indeed arrested, but that was not the case. He was a training officer doing some training, so I thought that was pretty funny, and I thought it was a good test of the system, because this actually happened, I believe it was like 8 or 9 years ago. The FBI, of course, has the profile, criminal history, and fingerprints of basically all that have been arrested, and the city and state officials transport these fingerprints. Even the hard copies, finger ink roll, are usually transported to the FBI, and they use the system integrated automated fingerprint identification system was adopted back in 1999 through grants by Congress in order to implement the system to keep track of criminals, keep track of terrorists. And currently they have over 70 million fingerprints on file, along with criminal histories. So once these fingerprints are transposed to the city and state levels, they're transported via computer system, and they're a database within the FBI. And that's how they are able to keep track of individuals who have been arrested, who are terrorists or criminals. I would also like to also say there's another key biometric feature also within these systems, which is the face recognition, which is not part of my research, but as I was researching this, I thought it was very interesting that these systems also is able to identify individual faces. So if you send them pictures of, say, a person that you saw on the street, I'm speaking for law enforcement, of course, and they say, listen, we have this guy in the corner, and I think, you know, he might be a criminal or part of a terrorist plot, whatever. They are able to transport those pictures into the computers through face recognition programs and identify that individual. So this is my research for my class of technology, and hopefully I can elaborate more in the future. But this is a brief introduction, and I thank you for your time and your cooperation to watch my video. Thank you. Take care. Have a good day.